Hey y'all, welcome back. Apologize for my absence in my videos. I know I said I was going to post weekly and then I haven't posted for almost a month. I did try and create one video, tried several different times, but each time the video did not work out for me. So I'm going to abandon that idea for now and get back to it another time. But in the spirit of it being October 1st, Halloween is just around the corner now. It's my favorite month because I love fall, I love Halloween, I love everything about this month. So, with that being the theme, I thought it'd be fun to talk about some spooky experiences I've had in my past growing up. We'll call them things of the unexplained, hauntings, what have yous. I have a few stories to tell, needless to say, so I'm going to get comfortable for a minute. I'm not going to tell you all of them in this video, because I kind of want to separate it out for the whole month of October here. So these are as I remember them. These were all a very long time ago, so I do apologize. I will try to explain the circumstances the best I can for the sake of the story. And we'll just call this my first Story 1 video. Of things I've experienced in my life. I'd love to hear in the comments what your thoughts, feelings are of what I went through. And so if you could hit me up in the comments, that would be great with whatever thoughts you have. And we'll get started with my very first story. This happened when I was really little. It's one of my first memories. It's of a place I was, probably 2-3 years old when I first started to remember this place. I remember that because my brother was still in diapers, but was starting to walk. So we're 18 months apart. So I figured I had to be around that age of remembering this apartment. It wasn't really an apartment. It was a one-bedroom, townhouse type style apartments. It was in a small town in Indiana. I'm not going to tell you where, just for, privacy concerns there, A lot of bad people trying to take any information, so I'm going to leave it vague. I had some good memories at this place, and there was some really creepy things that happened there, and then some really terrible things that happened there. But we'll just stick to the spooky things that I remember as a little toddler. Little kid. The first thing I remember about this place was it was a one-bedroom place, and then the bedroom actually faced the front of what you'd call the walking up to the house. We didn't use that doorway. We used the doorway that was considered like the back, because that came into the kitchen, and on the kitchen there was a little breakfast nook, and then from the kitchen you'd walk around. It was kind of a loop between the indoor and outdoor for the doors, but you'd walk up the sidewalk to the kitchen. Breakfast nook was off to the side, kind of a big square. I mean, it wasn't really fancy or anything. Then there was the living room, which was a decent sized living room, and then off of that was the one bedroom where my mom's and brother's dad's bed was there, and then we had our bunk beds, or our beds on the other side. I remember I had trouble sleeping in that place. When my brother and I were still kids. I mean, we were still in grade school, but much older than the actual event. We talked about it, and he said he would see spirits come up in the middle of the night through the floor, and they would stare at us, and that would make sense why I'd wake up at those times. I don't remember the ghost myself there coming through the floor. I do remember seeing them in the basement the one time we actually went to the basement. And the importance of that is this place is located on a cliff, and our back porch was right up to that cliff. In fact, the railing, like if you looked over the railing, you look straight down over this cliff. And as a small kid, that was already spooky enough. And to get to the basement, you actually had to like lift the door up from like the porch and walk down a set of steps. And it was, you couldn't see directly into the basement because there was like, it was kind of like a little curve first, and then you'd see. I never made it past that little curve, so I couldn't tell you what that actual basement looks like past that. Because the one time I remember opening it, and I remember it was daylight, and only my brother and I saw this. No adult saw this. It was just us kids. And it was like a skeleton hanging from the ceiling in the corner there. Like when you opened it up, you know, and it was like the stairwell down. And just right there, hanging, was a skeleton. And it terrified me so much that I remember grabbing onto my mom and like squeezing my face into her and shutting my eyes and wishing it to go away, and then opening my eyes and turning back, and it was gone. I, of course, obviously never went down there because that freaked me out. There was also other times where freaky things would happen, like that breakfast nook. A lot of things weird happened in that breakfast nook. I didn't like eating in there. I remember that. But I remember some mornings when, because Mom would make her cup of coffee and go sit in that breakfast nook and have her coffee. And I remember on several occasions, it happened quite a few times. I know it was more than like once or twice. But I don't remember exactly how many times, where something on that table would go flying across the table and either just hit the floor or bounce off the wall and hit the floor. Had some dishes break from that, as well as, you know, some stuff didn't, but freaky, man. And then there was times like you could just feel like something was standing behind you, but no one else was there with you. Like when you were in a room by yourself, or even if someone was in the room with you, they were on the other side of the room or not, where you could feel someone right behind you. And it was freaky. Some of them, like, sometimes I wouldn't feel afraid, just creeped out. Most time I was terrified by the feelings there. I know we didn't live there a terribly long time, but that was one of my first experiences of the unknown. And then another time, we were living in a small town in northern Wisconsin at this time. I was in 2nd grade. We were living in a trailer. And in this trailer, when you walked up the main door, you walked in and you could turn a couple steps and you were in like the dining kitchen area, or you were in the living room area. And off the living room was a little hallway, and the first bedroom, which was the door to your left, was my brother's room. And then there was a small little bathroom in between our rooms there. No, it wasn't. It was just closets. There was only one bathroom. It was just closets there. I was thinking of another place that had a bathroom in between the house. But, and then my room was on the other adjoining wall, but my room door was like straight at the end of the hallway, so, and then if you went the other way, the kitchen, the bathroom was to the left, there was a small laundry room to the right, and then Mom's bedroom. And so the importance of that is, I don't even know what to call this to this day. It's not something I really talked about with anyone ever, actually. But it was a stick figure type, I don't know, apparition that looked like it was carrying an axe. And as you know, my room was at the end of the hallway. Well, when you open my door, my bed was right there, and there was a window above my head, and then a window behind me. And I was just kind of tucked in there, and then my dresser and whatnot was at the end of my bed. And so when I was laying in my bed with the door open, I could see straight down the hallway all the way through to the kitchen at night. And we had a big window there, and our TV was kind of there when you walked out the hallway. I mean, obviously there was enough space to walk around it, but just to kind of give you a view. And out there, although there was a tree, it was further back for a big one, and you couldn't see any shadows from the moon no matter what time of night it was, from that tree onto the hallway wall. And then we did have another small tree kind of near, but it wasn't big enough to cast a shadow, nor was it the shape of the shadow that I could see on the wall for the stick figure. So, I mean, I've racked my brain many times going over that. Like, how could it possibly, like, to explain it scientifically, what could have possibly caused this shadow figure on the wall? Much less, it wasn't always there. It did have to have, like, a bright enough night for the moon. Like, it couldn't be a fully clouded night. Because if it was fully clouded, then I couldn't see the shadow on the wall. But it had to, but that was the only thing. And where we lived, it was a trailer park, but it was kind of out in the country in a small town, so we didn't have, like, big lamp light posts like you see in a lot of places now. The place wasn't well lit outside at night. It was all moonlit. Which I did like that place. I mean, I really did. The stick figure did scare me just because it did look like an axe figure, like a stick, you know, holding an axe like this, and the axe, you know, behind it, ready to hit. But I didn't feel like I was going to die ever. It was just really scary, because what would happen is on the nights that it would show and I would be looking down the hallway, as the longer I stared, the more it moved closer to me down the hallway. Now, mind you, my brother's door is right there. I've never stared long enough to let it get anything past my brother's door. I've had it where I wasn't brave enough, had to close my eyes or cover my head as soon as I got to my brother's doorway. And because I couldn't stand sleeping with something over my head and I had trouble sleeping, I would just then have to roll over and face the wall and then go to sleep that way. And as long as I wasn't looking at it, whatever it was, it couldn't harm me. Again, I don't know what that was. It was freaky. I'd never experienced anything like it since that place, and we only lived in that place, I think, for a year anyway. Nothing ever happened to me, and were there times, like, I've had times where I'd wake up multiple times in a night and only see it one time while I was awake, and then the next time go to sleep and wake up and see nothing. On those times, I'd actually get up and go raid the kitchen, turn on TV, have a snack, and go back to bed before morning. It didn't happen all the time. Like, I'd have sleepless nights where I'd end up getting up to where I'd go snack and whatnot. But it was definitely, you know, probably half a dozen times anyway that I remember that happening that year. And it's probably about that many times that maybe a dozen times that I saw that stick figure that I can remember. It was, like I said, it wasn't every night or anything like that. So, I don't know, creepy, unknown things that had happened. So let me know which, you know, have you had any experiences like either one I've explained? I actually do have more stories that are similar to my first story. I have even some more creepier ones than that. My last story actually is probably the creepiest one. And I'm thankful it was the last one I've had. And that was back in high school. But we'll get to that in another video. So please leave a like if this was something you enjoyed. Please leave me some comments. I'd love to hear from y'all. Thank you for the love and appreciation so far of what you've heard or provided. Thank you. It is very much appreciated, but would love to hear if you guys have had any similar experiences or what you think I saw. If, I don't know, maybe you know somebody else who's had something similar. I'm open to hear. But thank you again for stopping by, and see y'all next week.